Hi! Today, I'd like to talk to you about the narrative of Satisfactory and what you can expect in 1.0 when it comes to this aspect of the game. A long time ago, when we started working on this game and we had just gotten the basics of the game in place, one of our earliest playtests we did, one piece of feedback we got from players was that players sort of felt like they were missing a purpose as to why you're building all these factories in the game. After that playtest, it sort of made sense for us to try and use a narrative to tie everything together and sort of set the stage as to why you're on this planet and why you're creating all these factories. Being early access, we didn't want to have the narrative half finished in the game, so we decided to completely omit it for the duration of early access, which is why you haven't seen any of it apart from any world building we've done in the game and our socials and website and whatnot. Over time, the narrative for the game has gone over many different iterations of various scopes. At one point, the narrative grew into something overwhelmingly big, and we weren't sure we were going to be able to deliver on our vision. And Hannah, who is our lead writer, also had responsibility for world design and stuff like that. So she already had a lot on her plate. So we decided that we wanted to aim for a good story that we felt was manageable to implement for us. We've talked about this many times on streams and videos in the past, but our goal for the narrative of Satisfactory is that we don't want it to take sort of center stage, and we don't want it to be disruptive. We want the narrative to fit the current game, and we don't want it to change what people are already familiar with. Satisfactory is first and foremost a factory building game, and if you don't care about the story, you can, pretty much ignore it. It will sort of play out in front of you, but you don't have to pay attention to it. We don't want to remove any agency from the player either, so there won't be any cutscenes or anything like that will interrupt you from playing the game as usual. So don't expect a big story campaign or anything like that. There will be an ending to the game that you're working towards, but it won't distract you from the existing core loop of the game. But one of the main reasons why I'm making this video is because the story in 1.0 has changed since its initial conception. So we need to sort of retcon most of everything we've told you up until now when it comes to the story. For the most part, it's still, the same world and all that stuff. You're still a pioneer working for Fix-It, but you should probably forget everything you thought you knew about Fix-It, or any of the characters that we've revealed working for Fix-It, because characters such as Katarina Parks and Steve, they're all retconned at this point, okay? You'll still interact with Ada, your personal instance of the artificial directory and assistant. We're gonna keep Ada because we want to. We decided to keep Ada, and we're also not going to replace the Vocaloid that we've been using to voice Ada because, you're already so accustomed to that. And we also think it's pretty cool that people can create their own voice lines for, content or extend mods with it, or, even streamers have a chatbot read out messages live. We always thought that was pretty cool and fun. So you'll still be interacting with Ada, and in fact, every single existing dialogue with Ada in the game has been completely rewritten in 1.0. If you're planning to play Satisfactory multiplayer, it might also be good to know that any narrative that is triggered by unlocking milestones or phases or research will be shared globally in the session, but a lot of other narrative delivery will be triggered individually on a proximity basis. So if you're not close to someone when they're triggering something related to narrative, you won't experience that until you trigger it yourself. All dialogue in the game will also be logged into the codex, so you'll be able to revisit it again once you've triggered it. I also want to clarify one thing about Summer Sloops and Mercer Spheres. We've said in the past that those items are story items and they're tied directly to the story. This is not true anymore. They're not story items, but they will have some form of impact on the narrative, but their primary use case isn't tied to it. So with all that said, I'd like to take a moment in this video to sort of set the stage for the game's narrative. In Satisfactory, you take the role of a pioneer for Fix-It Incorporated, designated to the planet Massage 2AB-B in the Akatsha system. And to fulfill your obligations, you must exploit this planet for its resources by building factories, setting up power systems, organizing logistics utilizing vehicles, and asserting dominance over the local fauna using whatever tools you may engineer. To advance Fix-It's mission, all notable phenomena, resources, technology, or other influence should be investigated regardless of their perceived danger, as stated in the Pioneer contract. It is your duty to ensure they come to good use. On this mission, you are accompanied by Ada, your personal instance of the artificial directory and assistant.
Potential edible collected. Reminder that look and smell alone do not provide sufficient data to determine exact risk of consumption.
Ada will guide you throughout your mission, measuring your performance and providing you with helpful advice as you explore the planet and progress in your exploits. Your first official objective is to initiate Project Assembly by building the space elevator. Project Assembly is divided into phases, each of which requires the delivery of project parts via the space elevator. Subsequent phases unlock access to new tiers with more advanced technologies to construct, automate, explore, and exploit. But it's time to be honest. This project is part of the Save the Day program, the largest united undertaking in human history, destined to save us all. Earth is in peril, and only Fix-It pioneers offer hope for survival. Fix-It is counting on you. Do not let Fix-It down.
Your waves lap at our shores. When will you land? Defiled with scripture.